What's up, everybody? It's Meech. You're tuned into On the Radar, where we cover health, fitness, and tech, and a whole bunch of other stuff. All right, so something came across my radar this morning. I want to get into it and tell you guys about it. So I saw this article. It says, old credit card bill for 95 cents ruins Ontario's man credit rating. Now, listen to this very, very closely. If you have credit cards, or if you're looking to get into credit cards, listen to this very, very closely, because this is very real. This can happen. It says an Ontario man who says he always pays his bills on time was shocked to learn that an old credit card bill for less than $1 ruined his credit rating. He said when he checked his credit rating about a year ago, it was in a very good range. He said, I've always known when I got it checked that it was at 750 and up. For those that don't know, let me finish. Credit score ranges between 300 and 900, and the higher the number means less risk for lenders. So what that means is, if you're not familiar with credit, if you're in the low 300s, you're basically just starting off. It's not good. You're not going to get anything. You have to be at least in the 700 range, maybe even the 680 range and better to be able to get good like credit cards, to get low interest rates, and just basically, stuff like that. So the higher your credit score, typically, you want to at least be like in the 750 range. His name is Gabriel Frano. He applied to get a condo. He said he was surprised when he was turned down because his credit score dropped 160 points. And that's a lot if you don't know. He said his credit score went from 750 to 586, which is like the lowest 5% of Canadians. He said he called Equifax and TransUnion. Those are two of the biggest credit agencies. And, to find out what was wrong with his credit file, he said he discovered that a credit card that he thought he had closed still had a balance of 95 cents. So he said in 2017 and 2018, he traveled overseas and he took out a card, and thought he closed it, and he thought the balance was paid in full. It says even if it's paid at this point, it's still going to affect his credit negatively. So here's how this works. He thought he closed out the card, and maybe he did close out the card, but even if you close out a credit card, you still have to pay whatever remaining balance is left on that card. He had a 95 cents balance. That could have come from a surcharge. It could have come from anything. So most likely when he paid it off, he thought everything was, paid off. And then it might have just been a charge for something that came on later. And, because he closed out the card, he's not checking on the account. He's assuming that everything's done and over with, but that surcharge popped up. So what happens is you get 30 days to pay, your at least towards your credit card. If you're delinquent and you miss that payment, it's going to go against your credit report. Now, even something as low as 95 cents can ruin your credit. You have to make the payments on time or pay it off in full. If you miss that payment, and the longer you miss one payment, you're going to get a delinquent. The more you keep missing, it's going to build up and build up. It's going to destroy your credit score, your credit rating. Now, one of the worst things you can have on your credit rating is, that you didn't pay, because that's the whole basis of how you build and establish your credit, for making on-time payments and showing that you're responsible with the credit. So it doesn't matter if it's 95 cents. It doesn't matter if it's 10 cents. You have to pay your stuff off either in full, or obviously if you have a bigger balance, you have to at least make the minimum payments every single month. If I've heard of this where people, had issues like this where it was something small. They didn't think it, they didn't even know it was there, and it ruins your credit. Now, these things stay on your credit report for like years. So it's very, very important. Like I said, if you already have credit established, to stay on top of your payments. A lot of times what you can do is set up to make, if you have balances on different cards, you set up your accounts to make automatic payments so you don't forget. So you at least make sure that minimum gets paid every month. But even within that, you have to make sure you're paying attention, because your minimum payment can change based off of how much money, credit that you're using. It's a lot of stuff that goes on with credit. And I'm going to be getting into some more of this stuff, but I just wanted to bring this to you guys' attention, like I said, because something so small, or it seems so small as 95 cents ruined this man's credit because he didn't know, he wasn't checking up on it, and it just kept compounding and it got worse. Now, what also happens is, as you can see, he tried to apply for a condo and he got denied because his score dropped so low. Now, even once you pay it off, so you say, okay, I screwed up, I'm gonna pay the 95 cents back. You get your account, the credit account, you get that back in good standing, but your actual credit report and your credit rating is screwed. And that can take sometimes like several months. It can take many years to get that cleared up and get it straightened out. So you want to be very, very meticulous, very much on top of your credit rating. And something as far as his score dropping from 750, which is in a very good range, to 586, which is in a terrible range, is literally the difference of pretty much life and death in a lot of ways. Like, that's the difference of you getting approved for credit cards and high credit cards with high limits, and you getting denied. And as you can see, it's also the difference of you getting denied for anything like loans, or he was trying to get a loan to get a condo. He couldn't get it. So you can't even get housing, if your credit is not good. So, and it's not as easy as, like I said, it dropped 160 points. He was trying to get the condo, he got denied. So you say, okay, I'm going to, pay this thing off, and then my credit score should jump back up. A lot of times it's not that simple. Your credit score will take months and sometimes longer to get back. But because you have that delinquent history on your credit report, it can still hold you up even when you raise your score back up to a good level. People see that delinquent, it makes them afraid because they say you're at risk. So you never, ever want to be delinquent if you can help it, ever, on your credit cards. So it's a lot more stuff I'll get into, but it's just something, like I said, for anybody who has a bunch of credit cards. Like, for instance, I have like 15 credit cards. I don't use them all, but I use a good amount of them. So I literally every single day go through each one of my cards and make sure I'm up to date with, anything that any potential things that I didn't charge, because sometimes, your stuff can get hacked and you can get fraud stuff and people will charge your stuff. It has happened to me. And then sometimes just having so many cards and you're using so many cards, you can lose track of when the payment dates are. And like me personally, I don't have any that are set up for automatic payment because I'm so anal about, I check this stuff every day, so I'm not going to miss nothing. But it's just good to really, if you're going to have credit cards, to really be on top of it. And if you're thinking about getting credit cards, there's a lot of stuff that you need to know how to maneuver. But a lot of people really don't get educated on this stuff. And a lot of people, because they don't have that education, they're fearful, or they think credit is something that is not good, which it is. And you just have to understand the ins and outs of it and learn how to maneuver. And it can literally change your life if you get your credit, up in a good standing. So take a look at this article. I'll leave the link in the description. And like I said, let me know if you want to hear more. I'm going to be doing more videos on credit and how to build your credit, how to maintain your credit, all that stuff. But let me know in the comment section if you want to hear more, because it'll speed me up to make these videos. Till next time, stay focused, stay fit. Please hit that like button, show your support. Hit the notification bell so you'll be alerted the next time something comes across my radar. Salute.